YouTube, what is up? I have not been on here in a hot minute, but it's summer and I'm going to have the capacity and the margin to create more content more consistently, and I'm doing a lot of cool stuff and I want to share with you, so I'm excited to do that. Man, there has been a video, well, I did an interview for a friend of mine. They are married. Their name is Brittany and Richard, and they have essentially a purity podcast. And I was on that, and from that podcast, there's been an article written, and it was on ChristianPost.com yesterday, I think, and a few other places. But man, I woke up to like nearly 1 million notifications between TikTok and Instagram and Facebook and emails and direct messages. So first off, if I have not got back to you, it's gonna take a little bit of time. And man, I'm excited. I'm excited to see what opportunities this brings, and I'm also really excited to have a conversation with new people, because most people will say, man, this guy, he was in porn for a long time and he's a Christian. What is that all about? What does that look like? Is that possible? And I think it's really important to just talk about it. I think it's important to know that, like, I didn't leave the industry because I became a Christian. Like, that's not my story. That's not what happened. I left the industry because of some serious depression and just the industry just having a very derogatory impact on my mental and emotional health. And for me, it just it destroyed me. And I spent about 2 years running from the impact that it had on my life. I ran from the truth. I ran from the truth that I had done that, and I was ashamed, and I felt guilty, and I felt confused of what to do next. And I had the opportunity to start coaching at a gym. So I started doing something that I felt good about at the end of the day. And ultimately, I love people. I get that from my mom. I love to serve people. And I love to allow people to see themselves in the best light possible. I love to help people become better. I love to help people become healthier, more happy, more just have a more full life. And any way I can help people do that, I feel fulfilled. I love helping people. I love serving people in that way. So for the most part, it's health and fitness. That's how I had helped people for so long. But then there was a spiritual component. And then as I continued my education, it equipped me to really help people navigate through some difficult things. And just for a large amount of people, pornography is something that it impacts their day. It impacts their real life, whether you're single, whether you're married, whether you're in college, whether you're 50, it impacts people each and every day. And just talking with people and hearing their struggles, and ultimately just having really honest conversations. So that is what's going on in my life right now. So am I a Christian? Yes. I became a Christian about 6 years ago, a little over 6 years ago, actually. And I heard the gospel throughout my life. I believed in God growing up. I would have said I was a Christian, but the reality is a Christian is someone who believes that Jesus is God, believes that Jesus lived a perfect life, and he died on the cross as a substitutionary atonement, right? So he took our place on the cross because we are guilty, because Romans 3:23 says we are all guilty of sin. Everyone has lied, stolen something, lusted, whatever, no one is innocent when it comes to sin. We are all sinners. So people get caught up in like trying to weigh sin, trying to judge it, trying to judge sin, trying to say, well, this is worse than that. And the reality is, we are all sinners. So it's not a specific act that is the problem. It is our eternal state. We are sinners. So Jesus, and Jesus alone, fixed that problem. He died for us. So if we put our faith in who Jesus is and what he did, if we confess with our mouth that Jesus is Lord, and we confess that we believe in our heart that he rose from the dead on the third day, proving that he is who he claims to be, God, that we can be forgiven. If we understand that, hey, we are not perfect, Jesus is. Jesus died for us, and he died for us so that we can be reunited into a relationship with God. If we understand that and believe that we are forgiven. So that is where I'm at in my life. So I accepted that. I accepted that Jesus died for me, and I want to live for him. Anything I've ever experienced in my life that dramatically impacted me, I want to bestow on others. I want to give that thing to others. So whether it's fitness, whether it's spiritual health, whether it's mental health, whatever it is that I have the capacity to give, I want to give that to others in a way that's going to benefit them in a good way. I want the best for people. I see the best for people. So that's where I'm at in my life. I became a Christian 6 years ago. I worked in a gym. I worked my way up into management in a gym, and then I opened my own gym with my wife. My wife and I opened a gym, and then we opened another gym, and that went really well. In the middle of that, I went back to college about three and a half years ago. So I studied theater growing up. So when I first went to school, I bounced around. I was a mass comm major, a psychology major, and then I really found my footing in theater. I loved it. I loved acting. I'd been modeling for a long time. I started modeling when I was 14, 15 years old. But really loved theater, really loved acting. I just loved performance art. I loved it. And that's what led me to move to Hollywood to become an actor. I never intended on doing porn. That was never my plan. It was never a thought. But that is what happened. But so I went back to school to study religion at Liberty University with a focus on Christian ministry, and I want to achieve my master's in divinity. So long-term plan, I want to be involved in Christian ministries, whether it's leading a church, whether it's leading another organization, whether it's equipping leaders to lead organizations. That's something that I'm passionate about. I'm excited about and passionate about developing people, seeing gifts and talents that people already have and elevating them to be the best version of themselves. That's something that I'm good at and something that I'm passionate about. So for right now, I see myself for the next 5 years leaning into my story that is really God's story. And I'm doing podcasts, and I'm traveling and doing talks. I've written a book. I plan on creating curriculum to really take a hard look at what is porn and how is this impacting me. How is it impacting a person as, a single 20-year-old person in college? How is it impacting someone who is married? How is it impacting someone, in all capacities of life? How does this impact you? What does God's word say about it? And ultimately, what should you do about it? If it's negatively impacting your life, what should you do about it? How can you step outside of something that is impacting you in a way that you do not want to continue? You don't want to continue living that way. You want freedom. And I believe that I have acquired the tools and the knowledge necessary to help you step out of that. And I have had the experience to know the nuances of what porn is really like. So I think the combination of that is going to allow me to make an impact in this world. And ultimately, I love people, and I want to help people become healthier, better, and happier. So that's where I'm at in my life. I hope that you're having a great day, and I'll see you soon.